For your own projects, I recommend selecting an object that has very few organic rounded shapes. These are much harder to model by comparison. Instead, select an object that has a lot of hard 90-degree angled shapes. This is especially true if you're not very experienced with modeling in 3D. So for this whole process, we're going to be working through the creation of this clock. So this is a 1950s sun clock. So I've been given this sheet, this reference sheet, that has a few different designs on it, a few different angles, and a few potential color schemes and fonts to be used, as well as some texture properties that could be used later on in the texturing process. For right now, the things I really care about before going into our 3D package and starting to model is having some good reference. So generally, what you're going to want is to have at the very least, a front view, and if you have it available to you, a side view, and a 3/4 view doesn't hurt at all. For some objects, you might need a back view or some more specific views, such as a back 3/4, just to get a really good idea of what the object looks like, to really inform the way you make the object. So yeah, from this, I've just kind of cropped out these two top images here, the front view and the 3/4 view, so I can use them as a reference inside of Blender, and I'll show you how we can do that. So here we are inside of Blender. This is just the general scene. The things I don't need are more or less anything that's been given to me. So I'm just going to select the camera, the cube, and the light. I'm just going to hit delete. And just like that, they're gone. Very clean scene. Great. So the first thing we're going to want to do is to insert our reference picture. But before I do that, I'm going to turn on my shortcuts so you can see what I'm doing. Just down the bottom right here, in case anything's a bit muddy or I go a bit too fast. So from the front view, what you want to do is you go up to Add, Image, Reference, navigate to where the image is. In this case, it's on my desktop in Sunclock, and I got this Sunclock ref JPEG. I'm just going to add that, and there we are. So one thing we definitely want to do is to add some transparency to this image. That can be found under here under the Object Data Properties, inside of this Transparency checkbox. So once we've checked that, we get this slider, and we can slide this down. So I'm going to slide this down to about 0.5 or so. If you ever want to put a very specific figure, you can just click in there and use your numpad to type in exactly what you want and just hit enter. So I want this to be lined up with my origin here. So I have my X and my Z, and I want pretty much the center of this image to be where that is. So I'm just going to press W and move that kind of into place. And I probably want to change this a bit later, but that's probably good for now. The other thing I want to do is in the perspective view, I'm going to move this backwards, and I'm going to make sure I can't select it by accident. And the way I do that is by coming up here to the outliner, and in this little filter box we have here, we can add different restriction toggles. So in this case, we want this selectable one. So with that selected, you can see that we get this now. And if we were to uncheck that, we now can't select that at all. And that's exactly what we want.